Hello, everybody. This is James McDaniels, and I welcome you to the first week of the NBA and NASCAR Power Half Hour. I'm your host, and this is the first week in what will be a weekly 30-minute broadcast talking all about the NBA and NASCAR and everything that has to do with those two sports associations. Now, let's start off with the NBA because we have a lot of stuff that we got to get to in this first week. There's a lot of news spurting about. First thing, definitely got to go out to Boston, where Boston and Miami are currently dueling it out. But Boston, man, they just lost a good player. They just lost Rajon Rondo, and his injury is a torn ACL. Now, every one of us NBA fans knows that torn ACL is not really good. It's definitely a very hard injury to come back from. It takes a long time to come back, a good few months, about 8-9 months. So they just lost one of the best point guards Boston does in Rajon Rondo, who currently leads the NBA in assists. The guy has led the league in assists the last 2 seasons as well. And he's also a good scorer. He also can grab some rebounds. So they just lost an overall great player. And I was watching it on ESPN, and Rajon Rondo currently is not wanting to comment on it. So hopefully he'll be able to bounce back from that injury of his, because Boston really needs him. Because definitely, I mean, you got Pierce and Terry and a few other guys on that team, but Rondo is kind of just your overall guy, and he's an all-star and whatnot, and you need him, especially when your team has now lost 6 straight, and if they lose to Miami, that'll be 7 straight losses for Boston. So that's basically the update on Rajon Rondo. We'll get, of course, more information throughout the week, and hopefully an update will be on him next week. So let's go back out to Los Angeles. So how about them Lakers going out there now? They are not having the season everybody expected them to have. They're 18-25 so far this season, a much disgrace to what everybody thought they were going to be. Everybody thought that the Los Angeles Lakers were probably going to be the next, Miami Heat, because they were good before, but everybody thought they were going to be great now, because they had Kobe Bryant, they had all-star point guard and Steve Nash. They got Dwight Howard to come to Los Angeles, and as soon as the season began, it all fell apart. It all fell apart as soon as the season began, because Steve Nash, he had his injury, and when you don't have a good point guard like him out on the floor, and you got Kobe Bryant at that position, it's not going to work, because we all know Kobe Bryant does not, pass the ball a lot. And if he does, kudos to him, but he doesn't rack up a lot of assists per night. I mean, the leading assist guy in the league, like I said just a minute ago, Rajon Rondo, he averages just over 11 assists a game. And that's pretty good when you're talking about an NBA player having 11 assists a game. That's pretty good. But when you don't have Steve Nash out on the floor, and that's who you have for your main point guard, and that's who you wanted to have as your main point guard, then you've gotten yourself into a lot of trouble, because you need Steve Nash out there to make them plays for you, and not like Kobe Bryant and stuff, because he hasn't learned how to pass the ball yet. Although I can't really say that much, because just the other night against Utah, Kobe finally passed the ball, a lot. He racked up 14 assists, and that almost tied Utah's whole team, because Utah only had 16 assists the whole night. But back to the LA situation. Dwight Howard, he hasn't been as good as I guess a lot of people would have thought he would have been, with Los Angeles. I mean, of course, we all know about Dwight Howard and, all of his history he had with the Magic. But now he's in LA, and now he's on a team that Kobe Bryant describes as old. They're slow. They can't win ball games. And Mike D'Antoni, I mean, you got to be kidding me with Mike D'Antoni. They went Mike D'Antoni instead of going back to Phil Jackson, the guy that led the Lakers to so many of their championships, who, really was one of the best coaches the NBA has ever seen. And instead, they said, oh, we're doing this for the good of the team, and we're going to go to Mike D'Antoni. Well, it didn't work. It didn't work. Look at this record. You got a losing record. And it's not just a losing record. It's 18-25 through the first 43 games of the season. And you're talking about Laker Nation. The Lakers, the second most championship winningest team in NBA history, just behind Boston. It's a disgrace. It really is if you think about it. And I'm not a Lakers fan. I'm seriously not a Lakers fan, and I still can't believe what's going on, because usually the Lakers are, guaranteed to be in the playoffs. They've only missed the playoffs only a few times in the entire life of the team. It just amazes me how the Lakers season has gone, and for Kobe to say that the Lakers are old, he's dropped dead serious. They are old. They don't got a lot of new talent out there. I mean, they don't got anybody, good coming off the draft. The bench is not very good for the Lakers to be, to put it easy. The Lakers do not have a very good bench. I mean, it's just their starters. Their all-star, starters are what they needed to carry this team on. But because they don't get, a lot of draft picks because they do so well every season, they can't be like, the Wizards or the Kings or the Cavaliers that, are not doing very well as of late and are able to get a lot of those early picks early in the season. Or early in the draft, I should say. So, what's going on in LA? It's not surprising to me. I mean, eventually the LA dynasty is going to have to slow down a bit, and I think this is where it is. I mean, Kobe Bryant, if you look at him too, he's not scoring a lot of points. I mean, Mike D'Antoni, I think's starting to get Kobe to pass the ball a lot more, but I honestly think that's not what you want. I honestly do not think that's what you want to do, is give Kobe Bryant the ball and say, here, go pass it to Pau, or go pass it to Dwight Howard. And that's another thing. Pau Gasol should be one of the best centers in the NBA, and he was that a few years ago. But now he's not. He's not doing it. Right now, D'Antoni's trying to get him to do the outside game, even get a three-point game going on him. Are you kidding me? Pau Gasol's never going to have a three-point game. He's never going to be able to shoot well from three-point land. That's not what he's made for. He's made for getting the ball inside the basket and putting up them hook shots and making close baskets. The three-pointer and the wide perimeter shots are never going to be part of Gasol's game. I don't care if you're a Lakers fan or anybody else out there. I think we all know the truth. Pau Gasol will never be a three-point guy. So D'Antoni, what he's doing is basically trying to switch up this team and make him do some things different that, have worked for this team for years. He's trying to make Kobe Bryant pass the ball, which I think is good, but that's not part of Kobe's game. He's trying to make Pau Gasol go out and take perimeter shots. That's not what you want. And then it doesn't help with the fact that Steve Nash is not on the floor very much this season, and it doesn't help that Dwight Howard's not putting up the dominant performance that everybody would think he would be doing as an all-star center. LA is just they're gonna have to figure something out, and they're gonna have to figure out something out soon, because the way things are going right now, it's not gonna fly very much longer. And D'Antoni, he's gonna be coaching for his job here the next few weeks. I'm not gonna be too surprised if D'Antoni actually gets fired. And I think LA would enjoy that if D'Antoni got fired, because D'Antoni just doesn't seem to be the right coach for LA, or else LA would be, LA and get a better record. But on the other side of LA, you've got the complete opposite. You've got the Clippers. Are you kidding me? These Clippers are some team you better watch out for because they are good. They are really good this season. I mean, you got Chris Paul on that team, and you got Blake Griffin. You got a few other guys that really make the team run. I think they've been behind the Lakers too much all these years, and now are finally getting their chance to really show what they can do. They just had to get some All-Stars on that team, and that's what they did. I mean, you look at what they did to start the season, and you realize, oh my gosh, they went on this, double-digit game winning streak. And you're like, oh man, these Clippers could actually seriously be doing some damage. And you look now, and the Clippers are one of the best teams out there in the West. I mean, it's unbelievable just how much, a few years can make in the NBA. I mean, let's not forget the Heat, all right? Not too long ago, the Heat would tend to be one of those teams that you could beat. Not easily, but you could beat. Now they're one of those teams that you just can never seem to beat at all. I mean, the Heat, they're one of those. They've got an all-star team just within themselves. They have LeBron James. They have Dwayne Wade. They even have Chris Bosh. They have Ray Allen. They have Chalmers. They've got all these guys that when you work together like they do, they're so dominant and you can't stop them. Dwayne Wade, I mean, he and LeBron James can just really make you miserable if you can understand what I mean. From all them alley-oops that they make up to everything else they do on the floor. To shooting threes, to doing, I don't know, just having really on nights where they're scoring most of the team's points. I mean, you got an all-star team just in there in yourself. And I think Miami's got to be pretty lucky with themselves that they were able to get Dwayne Wade and LeBron James and Ray Allen and Chalmers, all of them on the same team, along with Chris Bosh. I almost forgot him. You're all able to have all these guys on the same team, and you're able to score like they do every night and have the record that they have every season. Now, I'm not going to get picky that the NBA is very geared towards having good teams in the high market areas. But that's what the Miami Heat are. Miami Heat are in a high market Miami area, and they always seem to be getting the good players no matter what else happens. I mean, we all saw the LeBron James trade, and that was, to some, that was not very good. That was not a very good trade because LeBron James had been loyal to the Cavaliers, ever since he was drafted. And then all of a sudden he goes to Miami and disgraces almost everybody in the NBA, especially those Cavs fans. And now the Cavaliers are one of the worst teams in the East. I mean, they got Kyle Irving coming out there, and he was a really good rookie, won Rookie of the Year. But the Cavaliers are still not doing that well. I mean, they got first pick in the draft last year, and now they're still not doing that great. They have a record that's not very good, and some teams beat them and some teams not. But I bet they got to feel lucky because for Cavs fans, they were able to enjoy some good times. They had when I still remember back a few years ago when the Cavs and the Magic were going at it in the Eastern Conference Finals. And, of course, we all remember LeBron James's three-pointer at the buzzer off the backboard to win that game against Magic to keep the series 2-1 instead of 3-0 in favor of Magic. Now, the Magic, of course, would go on to win that series, but then they'd go lose the NBA Finals that year. But, I mean, you got to remember, the Cavs were once a very dominant team. When they had LeBron James, they were really dominant. As soon as he left, things just started falling apart. Guys got started being traded away, and everything the Cavs had ever learned was gone. So I mean that's the story in Cleveland, but they got people in Cleveland got to feel lucky because at least they're not Washington Wizards fans. You're a Wizards fan, I feel sorry for you because the Wizards are having like the worst season you can have for a team with that much talent. I mean, they have that Beal guy and he's good. You got John Wall. Your team should be having a better record than what they have. And it just doesn't make sense to me why they don't have, a better record than what their, players suggest. I mean, every team in the NBA has at least one or two All-Stars, but it's based on it's definitely based on, what town's the most amusing. And I go back to Miami on this one. Miami is a big market area, and players want to go there because they got money, and the money. I mean, all of us have heard the saying, money talks, and that's how it kind of goes in the NBA. Wherever the money is, wherever the fans are, wherever the loyalty is, that's where players are going to go. Now, most of the time, players are going to choose money over loyalty, such as LeBron James. The whole city of Cleveland was loyal to him, and then he left. And because of money and making this all-star team in Miami and everything else. But back to Washington, I'm just looking at the standings, and Washington 11-31 this season. 11 wins, 31 losses. Half a game better than Charlotte, who, as we all know, doesn't do very well pretty much any year they've been in the NBA. I don't even know if they've made it to the playoffs or not, ever in the franchise's history. But they only have 11 wins and 32 losses, so give it up to Washington for being able to be 14th best in the Eastern Conference out of 15 teams. But, again, that's very surprising, and then you got Cleveland that's just ahead of Washington, 13 wins and 32 losses. So you got those three teams there that really are not doing that well when, they've had some good players on those teams. And for Charlotte, I want to touch on Charlotte a little bit because Charlotte is home of the Bobcats, as we all know, and even so, they even have a bigger arena than Sacramento Kings. All right, Sleep Train Arena, Power Balance Pavilion, Arc Arena, whatever you want to call it, is the smallest arena in the NBA with 17,317 seats. All right, so at least Charlotte has a bigger arena than Sacramento does, and Sacramento's my home team, and I'm the one, and I root for them and stuff. And of course, we have all this blah going on that the Kings are going to move, the deal's been struck and everything. But I'll get back to that in a few minutes. But I wanna touch back on Charlotte. They got Michael Jordan. All right, Michael Jordan is one of the main guys in the Charlotte head GM office and whatnot. But of course, we all remember that Michael Jordan was a very good basketball player. He's one of the best basketball players that's ever played the game. But then you go and put him in a management position like he is now, and he just can't do the job. So that's one thing I just wanted to say is that Michael Jordan, great player, but not very good as a runner of a team. Now back to Sacramento, is that they made a deal with this Hanson Balmer group, okay? And for those of you that are not familiar with it, it's like Microsoft and stuff. They bought the Kings for an unprecedented, and I say unprecedented because it is the biggest sale in NBA history, $525 million. You heard me right, $525 million for the Sacramento Kings. And they're going to move them to Seattle, and they're going to only play in this key arena. And you got to remember, the Seattle Supersonics, they've played in Key Arena until they moved to Oklahoma City when there was no new arena deal. The arena wasn't getting bigger. Key Arena is actually smaller than Arco Arena is. Or Power Bounce Pavilion or Sleep Train Arena or whatever you want to call it. Sleep Train Arena now, but everybody remembers it as Arco. And I still remember it that way too. But anyway, Mayor Kevin Johnson, mayor of Sacramento, has came up and is trying to put together a big counter offer, and I honestly think he can do it again because if you all remember back in 2011 when the Kings were slated to move to Anaheim and the Honda Center, Kevin Johnson went to the Board of Governors, stopped the decision, said give Sacramento another chance, and you know what they did? They said, no, wait one more year, give them one more chance. So you know what? Sacramento did that, and look at where they're at now. Look at them back a year ago, all right? They got an arena deal put together. The Moose even agreed to it, all right? Everybody thought it was great, all right? Even the Maloofs and the mayor themselves actually went out on the King's Court last year, and I can still remember the exact date. February 28th, 2012. Mayor Kevin Johnson went out to Arc Arena or Powerbound Pavilion or Sleep Train Arena. I'm just going to keep using Sleep Train Arena because that's the real name of the arena. But he and the Maloofs went out there, struck an agreement, and raised their hands, and they announced, we will have a new arena by 2015, and we are glad to be here. And then you have them breaking up the deal. Now, honestly, based on everything that I've heard in the past and everything that I've seen, it's definitely not Joe and Gavin Maloof's fault. It's not their fault because they love Sacramento. They're the ones that want to keep the team here. It's their brother, George Maloof, that wants the team gone. It's him that wants them gone. But you know what? You know, at least you could sell the team to somebody that's in Sacramento. Why do you have to go to somebody in Seattle and give it to them there? I mean, that's just going to cost you more money. I mean, you got a ridiculous hefty $100 million relocation fee. Plus, you got to pay $77 million off to the city of Sacramento. And then plus, you only own 65% of the team. I mean, there's the other 35% of the team that is owned by other people. And you know, it's like, why? It's $525 million for 65% of the Sacramento Kings. Really? Forbes? Did you know Forbes valued the Kings at $300 million? It's like $525 is way too expensive, but $425 is good. You see, Mayor Kevin Johnson was able to get that arena deal done, and it was the Moose that caused it to fall apart. And then you come back to where we are now. The Kings were sold to the Handsome Bomber Group for $525 million, and the Kings will be moving to Seattle now, unless the NBA Board of Governors makes the right choice and says to keep the team in Sacramento. Mayor Kevin Johnson, the city of Sacramento, has done everything they can to save the Kings from moving. And you got to give credit to that. They've done everything. Seattle didn't do a lot. I mean, they did have save our Sonics and stuff, but they didn't work really hard for an arena deal. As soon as we knew we had secured the Kings for one last season, we did an arena deal and worked it really, really hard. And Mayor Johnson did, and Mayor Johnson was able to put it all together. Moose agreed to it. All the fans showed all their support at every press conference, every Kings game, every time something happened, and now they kind of get stuck in the neck with a knife because their team's going to go bye-bye even after all the work that they did. But you got to remember, even though the NBA usually moves teams upon request, there is one time in the last few years that the NBA declined to say, yes, we're going to move this team. And that was when the Timberwolves were slated to move. Well, guess what? Timberwolves didn't move. The NBA made a good decision and said, no, Timberwolves are going to stay in Minnesota. And that was a good decision. So it gives Kings fans hope that happened. So that's basically my take on it, is that you can't do this to a community. You can't do this to a mayor. You can't do this to the fans who have worked so hard to keep this team here, all their support, and all the history that we have as, you know, Sacramento Kings fans. That it's like just being stuck in the back of the neck with a knife. So hopefully the NBA Board of Governors will make the right decision to decline it. I know Mayor Kevin Johnson will do his job and come up with a plan, a big counteroffer, and then the NBA will decide which one is better suited and what decision to make. So that's my take on it. But I know all you guys are not very interested in Sacramento. So I'm going to get off Sacramento because, like I said, not a lot of interesting stuff going on here on a national uh, sports show. Um, in terms of Sacramento, y'all want to hear about LA and Heat and stuff, and I've already talked about that. So I've talked about NBA for a good 25 minutes here. So let's move on to NASCAR, where you know, where we've got a very good season on our hands to say the least. Definitely um got to go with the top story right now, probably all around the NASCAR world, and it's not rumored, it's true. And this is what the story is. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., all right? He's won the last two nationwide championships in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. And then, of course, you got Danica Patrick, who, of course, ran some Nationwide Series. She won a Cup race or two. And then, of course, we all know her from IndyCar racing in the past. But now they're both rookies this year. So it's like, okay, well, what's the big story then? Well, here's the story. There's 3 words to it. They are dating. That's right, you heard me right. Danica Patrick and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. have both confirmed via social media that they are dating. And these are the two that are most likely going to be in a heated battle to try to win the Sprint Cup Rookie of the Year award. Now, if there's any odder relationship than that, well, then you must tell me. Because I don't know if I could handle my girlfriend being my, I guess, competition to win a big award in the biggest motorsport in the United States of America. I just don't know if I'd be able to handle it. How they handle it is kudos to them, but that's not mine. That's not my thing at all. And I just hope and pray that it'll be a good season between those two. And they both said that the relationship's not going to hurt their racing and that they're going to race each other hard. And they say it's going to be a lot of fun, and I think it will be too. And then also I wanted to touch on what NASCAR is allowing their fans to do. And this year, the Budweiser Shootout is going to be called the Sprint Unlimited, for the reason I do not know why, but they've changed it to the Sprint Unlimited. And this year, the fans of NASCAR, for the very first time, will get to decide pretty much a good few aspects of how the race is going to be run. So, for example, you get to vote on how many laps are going to be per segment. You get to set pit stop regulation. You get to set how many cars are going to be eliminated. And then you also get to pick out Miss Sprint Cup suit, if you can believe that. Miss Sprint Cup suit, you can decide which suit out of the 3 suits can be worn by Miss Sprint Cup at the Sprint Unlimited. And I'm telling you, I've already voted. I've already made my votes. So go on and vote. This is where the fans will get to say what's going to happen, and I really love what NASCAR did with it. And I'm really happy that they're letting their fans speak out in this way. And then also finally, the Daytona 500, of course, it's all coming up. The biggest NASCAR race of the year. Cannot wait for that, coming up in a few weeks. And really, really, really hyped about that. And we'll see what kind of a season brings. I mean, they've got a brand new car. Jeff Gordon even talked about it, hoping to end his slump. See if Keselowski will be able to get a second championship in a row. See if Jimmy Johnson can get back on the championship track. Of course, a lot of other things that are going to go on during the season. And then finally, of course, definitely that rookie chase is going to be really fun to watch between dating Danica Patrick and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. So a lot of things that are going to, happen this season in NASCAR, and I'm really excited for it. And, thank goodness it's not too far away. So that's pretty much been your NBA and NASCAR stuff for this week. How about our other sports minutes, where we talk about other sports? So obviously we have the Pro Bowl coming up later today, and then Super Bowl is next week between the Niners and the Baltimore Ravens, and that should be fun. It's going to be a Harbaugh showdown between Jim and John, the brothers, separated by only a year. and it's going to be Ray Lewis's last game. I hope he does well. And I hope the Niners also put up a good challenge because I know they've got a good guy in Colin Kaepernick. I mean, that guy only in, I don't know what, his 10th, 11th start is going to be, in the Super Bowl. Who else can ask of that? So that's going to be really fun to watch. Can't wait to see what the Baltimore defense brings against Kaepernick, and I can't wait to see what Ray Lewis does, especially on Kaepernick, and we'll see which offense can do better, and we'll see if Flacco can outdo Colin Kaepernick or the other way around. So that's going to be a very fun time. And that's pretty much my sports minute for you guys is pretty much the Super Bowl and the Pro Bowl this week. So for now, this is James McDaniels signing off from the NBA and NASCAR Power Half Hour. I will see you next week where we will have more NBA news and NASCAR news to talk all about and just go crazy about for half an hour. So for now, this is James McDaniels saying goodbye.